Just let me know if you need anything.
And we are live. Chatelet Brothers, Fuzzy Dunlop Skates. You're watching Bridge Burners TV. This is the evening red pill. Even though there's no one here right now, this is still the evening red pill. I'm gonna open up the window, mute that shit, and hey, Jordan's here. Says early morning, sir. No, it's actually 10 to 8 in the evening. It is 7:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was planning on, I still want to continue the morning red pill, but I want to go live at night also. And this week I had some stuff to take care of early morning. And anyway, that's just how it went. So I'm trying this now, but in the future, very near future, probably in the next week or in the next 2 weeks, I'll still be streaming most weekdays. But within the next week or so, I'm going to figure out a schedule and, you know, I'll have some sort of timetable regarding morning and evening shows because I want to do both. They're both good for different reasons. You know, morning is good because it's a good way to start your day. And the evening shows are fun also because it's a good way to unwind. And, you know, a few more people might watch. Now, people watch retroactively after the video is posted, which is cool. But, you know, people want to fucking join the chat. That's cool also. Also, sorry, because last stream, I believe I said I was going to stream the next day again. And I didn't. And I said that I got sidetracked many times. Sorry, my lips are fucking chapped today. That's why they're all red. And yeah, I said I was going to make a list of things to talk about. And I did. But I didn't finish it by 5 a.m. So I have my list now. I have a good show for you, hopefully. Start off with a story. First, I'm just going to read the comment here. Jorn says, we can forgive children to be afraid of the dark, but the real tragedy of humanity is when men are afraid of the light. Plato. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm not just pandering to you. One of my good friends, Monk Music. Hey, Dave. I just heard him on Whiskey Stills and Tumbleweed Stream. Should subscribe to both these guys, by the way. They're both really good dudes. Again, I don't agree with everything that either of them say. Not by a long shot. And that's cool. I never had a fucking problem with either of them. And I said it a couple of times in the past, for those of you that aren't aware, like, you know, Monk Music and I are very close. We've been talking at length for almost 2 years now. And, you know, I have 2 friends, and he's one of them. And, you know, I love you, no homo. And thanks for blowing all that smoke up my ass in the live stream. Again, no homo. But seriously, thanks, man. I appreciate it. And people should subscribe to those 2 channels. You know, a lot of fucking good content. You know, I said I didn't agree with everything. It doesn't fucking matter. My opinion is just my opinion. I'm wrong about a lot of stuff too. And, you know, I go back and forth and I change just like, you know, I would say everybody does. But it's cool. It is healthy. And also, just because I disagree with something, it doesn't mean like I have to fucking comment on it and pick a fight with the guy for it, especially if I don't really give a shit. It's like, okay, yeah, you know, I agree with most of it, but even that, like, man, focus on the good. All the channels I subscribe to, all the types, I've said it before, I don't agree with everything they do. For the most part, I'm at the channel. I would love every channel to be like kind of the only channel you need and it has everything for you. But the reality is that, you know, different channels that I sub to for different reasons. You know, I don't want, for instance, all the MGTOW channels I sub to, I don't want them all to have the exact same opinion regarding the wall or regarding like, you know, abstinence versus like pump and dump, or, you know, I like the different viewpoints. And, you know, I think people with, you know, people who are fucking new to this community and stuff, just finding it out, I think it benefits them to have a well of experience that they can draw from, you know, instead of just one sort of authoritative, oh, this is the way it is. And okay, But anyway, that's that. So sub to Whiskey Stills and Tumbleweeds, sub to Monk Music, don't engage. Okay, so I started off, first thing on my list, it's really vague, self-helping people. And I'm going to talk about a channel that was a good channel at the time when I started watching it. Not a MGTOW channel, but kind of related, really related, I think, off-grid living and stuff like that. And this guy built a cabin, and, you know, his video went viral, and, you know, he's come a long way, and he has a success story, but it's very vague. And he brings up the success story often, and he makes hour-long videos, and he talks about, you know, he motivates his fucking audience and things like that. But, and I think he has almost 1 million subs now. Like, not a malicious looking guy, you know. Outwardly, he looks very reliable and honest and everything. And at first, when I started watching his videos, I really liked the channel. Not because of what he said, but because of what he did. Now, I was in a huge, you know, I owed $20,000 for, you know, a year, which isn't that long. But before that, you know, for the past, let's say 3 or 4 years, started off with nothing. You know, and then it gradually went up and up and up and up and up, and then it got to $20,000, and then, you know, it got that high before I could start getting it down again. But when it was that high, which was last winter, you know, I was literally doing my utmost, and nothing was fucking working. You know, I was working for pretty much anybody, you know, applying for jobs every day, and, you know, it's hey, great big kill, how's it going, man? So yeah, applying for jobs every day. I got hired, a lot of them, but most of them ended up just being wastes of time. And it didn't matter how much they paid. You know, there was always a fucking catch. It was always like kind of far, or really far, or there was some fucking nuance. Like you had to work like 12 hours, but you get breaks, or you had to supply your own gear. And it's mandatory that you buy like A, B, C, D. Hey, J-Lord, how's it going, man? Glad you could make this one. Remember, sheeple, debt is good. Stagflation is great for the economy. Yes, like in a town I just moved to, they raised the minimum wage 40%. And then, as a result, the cost of goods and services went up 60% plus. So great. It's exactly that. It's a fucking stagnant economy, and then they introduce inflation to it. Stag fucking inflation. It's actually the worst of both worlds combined. It can fucking happen. It's happening right fucking here. Probably a lot of other places too, but this is a fucking concrete example, and it's fucked up because it happened right before my eyes. Now, back to, this guy, this off-grid guy. You know, I like his videos on building cabins and stuff like that, but he has videos, you know, he titles his videos How to Get Out of Debt or things like that. And, you know, the whole video, he doesn't fucking tell you at all about how to get out of debt. He doesn't say shit. And, you know, he mentions that he had a lot of debt at some point and he got out of it, and all you need to do is, like, I don't know, trust in God and everything's going to sort itself out. And, you know, he bought his land for next to nothing. Yeah. Yeah, the budget will balance itself, you know, I like Trudeau says, and the government will balance itself, right? You just need more of it. So this guy, he talks a lot about his debt, and he's like, yeah, don't despair. And, you know, the comments, man, he gets like fucking thousands of comments on each video. It's all people fucking praising him for, you know, being such a good guy and being motivating and everything. And, oh, you helped me and stuff. And, you know, like, I commented on this guy's videos too back in the day. I asked him some questions about advice, and I told him I really liked his videos. Man, you know, the works. I didn't get one single fucking answer. I don't give a shit about that. That happens a lot. Sometimes comments don't show on the channel. Sometimes people don't have time to answer you. Sometimes they don't want to answer you. You know, sometimes they're too busy. It could be any number of reasons. I don't really give a shit about that. But a lot of the time too, if you see a fucking heart next to like 1,000 comments, and then you write something that's in the same fucking vein and it's completely unacknowledged, then it's, you know, but again, that could be any number of things, including algorithms and shit. And look, the fucking bottom line is that, again, this guy this guy preaches helping people, but he's not said one fucking thing that could help anyone get out of debt, you know, other than keep on keeping on. And usually that's what gets you into debt. You know, hoping, you know, you work your ass off even, like while you're getting into debt. And that's the whole thing. Like for me, it happened because I changed jobs, you know, often. And each job, you know, you kind of have to invest for like new gear. Okay, not crazy gear, but whatever, man. Schedules are different. You got to like get your food for your lunches. Is the place inside or outside? What do you need? Do you need work boots? What kind of work boots? Do they provide them? How much do they pay? When do they fucking pay? It's not like, oh, just sign up and it. No, you have to, you know, you have to do a lot of preparation, especially, you know, is it going to be cold? I worked in a refrigerated warehouse for a year. It was fucking really cold, man. And there's a lot of stuff that you have to fucking learn for yourself on that's going to kind of make the job not only bearable for you, but, you know, a little bit easier. Because if you're fucking freezing, like you can't do shit. Yeah, they give you a fucking jacket and pants and everything. They give you a uniform, but you have to buy like all the other shit. And, you know, you buy as much or as little stuff as you want, you know, because it's you, it's your body. You decide what it takes for you to be able to stay out in the cold and be productive for, you know, 6 hours to 10 hours, or sometimes even longer. So, and I find the cold, it's not a question of willpower. You know, when your hands get frozen and you're trying to turn a fucking key through a lock, you can muster all the willpower you want. Like you just can't fucking feel anything. And then you get frostbite. And then, you know, I've gotten frostbite before too. And because I've gotten it before, I'm always prone to it. So it comes back if I'm not bundled up. And, you know, anyway, this guy, this channel, and, you know, he's like the hero of the fucking federation, if you will. And, you know, he made a video very recently. Oh yeah, and he just bought some more land. So he's got like three pretty massive properties of like from 10 acres to I think 20 acres, but he's got a couple of properties. And, you know, all we know is that he was in debt. Keep on keeping on. I'm going to help you get out of debt. I'm not going to say how, but keep on keeping on. I was in debt and now look at me. And it's like, oh, I was in debt and now look at me. I have another cabin. And now I was in debt and now look at me. I have a third cabin. And the hardest part about this shit, the hardest part about, I find, the off-grid living is finding the land. That's the fucking toughest part. That's the toughest part. And that's a secret that nobody wants to divulge. You know, there are thousands of videos on YouTube about how to build a cabin. Thousands. There are videos on how to buy land, but it's all the same thing. It's basically like, oh, you got to like look around. It's like, no, don't give me that shit. Don't give me that shit. You map every fucking notch of every log. You know, preparation is key. And you tell me when it's time to buy land, just go wing it. So this guy basically, Mr. fucking off-grid hero, he sent his subscribers to buy land on Kijiji, which is like Craigslist, but it has less than Craigslist, and it's very, very bad for land. And he knows this. Anyone that has checked this knows this. So he deliberately sends you in the fucking worst place possible, giving very, very, very vague advice. But at the same time, you know, and his channel's monetized. He started his own little bullshit brand wherein he basically has an accessory patch that he got printed somewhere. And he has this patch embroidered onto like a whole bunch of stupid shit, like a water bottle, like a t-shirt, or like a survival cap, you know, or an axe sheath. None of this shit that like he made himself. And he makes these like peaceful videos in the woods, and he tells you how he can help you get out of debt and how not to despair. And, you know, at first I bought into it because I wanted to get out of debt. Fuck, I want a cabin. I want land. Fuck, a lot of people would fucking dig that shit, I think. And it's like, oh yeah, I'll show you how tomorrow. And that's what's telling me. It's saying like, meanwhile, just keep doing what you're doing. And, you know, when you really need my help, then I'll give you the real trick for free. Support me on Patreon, fine. So recently he uploaded another video, like how to get out of debt or whatever. And he shed a little bit more light on his debt. And it was all about how he has such a huge heart, which is why he didn't want people helping him build his like third or fourth fucking cabin or whatever. Oh yeah, he has like 3 or 4 cabins now, by the way, with the support of like the whole internet. This guy's such a fucking hero. Did you guys know he was even in debt? And he's going to tell you all how to get out of debt. He's going to tell me how to get out of debt. So his latest video, you know, he's building his like fucking 5th cabin or whatever, and it's on his brand new lot of property. Doesn't tell you how he got it or where to get it or anything like that. And he's talking about helping people and how it's just in his nature to help people all the time. And he's such a helpful person. He's such a fucking altruist. That exists, by the way, not. And he's such a philanthropist, and he's so humble too, bragging about himself all the fucking time. And, you know, he doesn't want people to help him build his cabin, even for free, because people all over the place, you know, all his friends, all the YouTubers or YouTube subscribers, they offer to help him for free. And he explicitly states that he does not want the help because that implies that one day he should feel obligated to help them. And his whole argument is that they're going to ask him for help at the most inopportune time. But he doesn't even get that far. The bottom line is that he basically says it. He says, I just don't want to have to fucking help anybody ever, owe anybody. It's like, yeah, well, fuck you. And then he talks about his debt, because that's how it is, man. Like, so he talks about his debt after that. And his debt was not a personal debt. It turns out that this guy, he ran a company, several companies with, you know, like 100 employees. And, you know, he has all these 100 employees counting on him, and like, you know, they all look up to him like a father, and he treats them like family. And, you know, he just lives to help people, you know, clearly, because he has a company with 100 employees, you know, that probably all get fucking minimum wage. So this guy is he helps people. And, you know, we found out in his latest video, or one of his latest videos, that when he says he was in debt, he basically means that the company had a high turnover in 2008 and 2009 because there was a recession. But because of Stephen Harper, actually, Canada was virtually untouched by the recession. And yes, there was like a full scare. And, you know, we know how fucking effective a placebo can be, unfortunately. So yeah, there were a lot of people fucking running around with like chickens with their fucking heads cut off. And you know, like they're just fucking stupid. So yeah, Gravy Bake says this guy sounds like a massive con artist. Like the way I'm describing him, it does. But like if you watch his channel, you really fucking probably would think that I'm fucking, you know, pulling it out of my ass, because you'd think probably this guy's a real deal. You know, he looks humble, and you know, he doesn't swear. He says all the right things. You know, no, he's not ugly. Because yeah, it makes a difference to a degree. And you know, he takes his time on his builds, and he sells his product, and everyone loves that. And you know, so it's called My Self-Reliance. And you know, so he talks about his debt again. So during the recession, there was a big turnaround. And the whole thing is that he laid off a bunch of employees because he was fucking scared of losing fucking potential profits. You know, so he laid off a bunch of fucking employees. And because of this, like there was a high turnover because people were fucking scared of their fucking job security, and rightly so, because he bought in to the fucking fake recession that never really fucking happened in Canada. And, you know, because of this, he had 95 employees in his company, and then he downsized a little bit. And then the next year he had a turnover of 400 employees. So this guy's big fucking sob story, from what I can tell, because this is the most that he's divulged of it so far, is that, you know, one year, instead of having 100 full-time employees, he had 400 employees come and go because he downsized before. And he didn't make as much profit as he projected, like the fiscal year before. So, you know, my heart fucking bleeds in half for this poor fucking guy. Poor guy, man. And it's, you know, now I think that his whole channel, it's just look at me, look at me, look at me. Now, there's another guy too. I mentioned him before. And look, this wasn't my intent to put you onto these channels and like, look, man, maybe you'll watch them, maybe you'll love them. And it's not so much about like exposing the fraud. No, these are just my thoughts. They were not always my thoughts. You know, I've been watching these guys for over a year now. And, you know, this is just the way I apply the same scrutiny that I would apply to anything else. And that's not even that much scrutiny. I want to enjoy myself. I'm not a nihilist. I'm not even a fucking pessimist. You know, I love everything I fucking do. Seriously, that's why I do it. And I think everyone should strive to do what they want for as long as they can. You know, it's a difference between hedonism and like sustainability. It's completely different. And you don't have to fucking be a slave to have something sustainable. So that's what I get with this guy's channel. It's just look at me, look at me. And there's another guy, I talked about him before, Buckin' Billy Ray Smith. He's a chainsaw guy. And he does some like cool little stuff in his channel. And I learned a lot watching him. But this guy too, man, it's just all about him. Look at me, look at me. I'm so fucking amazing. There's like some fucking, he lives in like buttfuck fucking British Columbia somewhere. And he has no fucking certification, but in every video, like he pretty much gives you like a disclaimer telling you to get certified and like, oh, don't try this at home. Like I'm a fucking professional. And like, no, man, you bullshitted your way into the industry just like I did. Fuck. You know, like I'm not going to tell anyone to like go take a fucking 10-year course for something that I did not take a course to do. If someone says, oh, how do you do it? I can tell them exactly how I did it and hope that like it works for them. I'm going to turn this light off, see if it's a bit better. Is that better? Yeah. Anyway, I might turn it back on later. So, you know, kind of frustrating. I think it's better. Other side? Whatever, fuck. Yeah, there's fucking good luck platypus behind me. So, you know, this... Hey, Troll Masters, what's up, man? Yeah, I like Tom Likas. He's fucking cool. Yeah, you were one of my first subscribers, man. Fucking shout out, fuck. Fucking cool, man. I miss your fucking comments, man. You used to write fucking funny shit on my fucking videos, man. Yeah, I remember. Appreciate it, man. You helped me get started. Thanks a lot. And this chainsaw guy, like, again, it's just look at me. Look at all my shit. Look at all the shit I have. Look at all, man, he built like a fucking, he calls it a bunker, but it's like a giant fucking cabin for his tools. And he built it like with subscribers that like came from all over the world on their own fucking pocket money to like fucking help him build this fucking, the charity project that he didn't need. Like he makes a lot of money and he makes a lot of fucking, he gets a lot of business through fucking YouTube. He links his YouTube to his work, which is smart. I like that. But and this guy cuts so many corners and he does, you know, I say that I do a lot of fucking unsafe shit. It's kind of true, but not really. You know, maybe like fucking less than 5% of what I do on the job is stuff that I should not be doing according to the book. But for the most part, unless it's going to cause a huge hindrance, I try to do everything, you know, the supposed suggested way if I can. No, but sometimes you can't. You got to think outside the box. So, you know, again, this other guy, like at first I thought it was cool because I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's a real deal. And then it's like, no, man, he's just a fucking hypocrite. And I don't mind. Look, I think it's cool to be out for yourself. I really do. And no buts. And this is something else. This is like expecting other people to fucking carry you. This is wrong for me, you know, and I'm going to segue into my next point, you know, because I'm off these fucking channels that I don't like. Sorry for taking so long. You know, you guys were fucking relating to it in the comments, which I really appreciate. So it gave me the chance to go a little bit deeper into it. So that's what was that. And as far as, you know, every man for himself, like I mentioned it before, but if you want to put my political ideology into a sentence, you know, I'd say I fit the definition of anarcho-capitalist, you know, pretty tightly for most things. But I would like to restrict immigration. You know, the only reason I would not like to end immigration completely is that where you're born is a circumstance of birth. And I think that, you know, if you're willing to conform enough to another country and there's a due process for you to enter that country, you know, within reason, you should have a chance to go. Like a chance, you know, like only the top certain percentile make the grade. You know, you should have a chance, and they take the best of the best. Small amount, but there's a chance. Because otherwise, you know, you would be stuck wherever you were born. Fuck. But at the same time, this is an old argument that I didn't understand when I first heard it a few years ago. I think Molyneux mentioned it the first time. And it's that, you know, people in, like, let's say shithole countries, for instance, instead of starting a fucking refugee caravan and going wherever the fuck they think they're going to get the most shit, like the best thing that you can do for your country is stay there and fight and help fix it if you really care. If you really care, if it's yours. You know, if it's your house, what are you going to do? What do you do when your house gets fucking messy? When it gets dirty? Do you move? I mean, look, we moved, but don't get me wrong. It's not because we dirtied it up. It's because the landlord fucking reneged on all his fucking responsibilities. So, yeah, fuck you. We're not fucking paying. We're fucking leaving. This is not our house. We're just passersby that are paying you to stay here. And, you know, we held up our end. We gave you fucking money, you know, for a year and a half, and you did not hold up your end. So, fuck you. Yeah, we're gone. Now, that's not the same as, you know, the house that I'm born in. I take a fucking shit on the floor, and then I look at the pile of shit and say, okay, well, I'm going to go fucking to the neighbor's house. And, you know, I hope they don't have any shit on the floor. And I'm going to go shit on their floor. And people are going to say, oh, it's not like that. Okay, well, what's it like then? You know, when things get tough, you know, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? And it's going to be a vicious cycle. You know, leave the next place as soon as it doesn't fucking suit all of your fucking criteria, instead of trying, you know, to make it better in your own way. Like, you know, like JFK said, fuck. But, you know, it doesn't have to be country. It can be country, house. You know, I like that fucking analogy. I said it before, man. Like my house, like you could be a great guy. You could want to pay my rent. You could offer to pay all my rent, not just half. You know, you could offer, you know, to fucking do like all my chores, all my cleaning, everything. But, and yeah, like it technically might be a good deal. It might be good on paper. Maybe it'll even be good in reality, but it's my fucking house, man. If I don't fucking want you coming in, you're not fucking coming in. And houses have walls, they have fucking doors, and the doors have fucking locks on them. And that's it. And I think good fences make good neighbors. And so I wanted to talk about every man for himself, because one of the fucking criticisms of like the anti-capitalist ideology is that, oh, but that's every man for himself, you know? In an anarcho-capitalist society, it would always be every man for himself, and it'd be like, I don't know, it'd be like the worst of the worst, you know? Like fucking rat masses. Hey, I agree, Gravy Bake. They wouldn't come if there wasn't fucking welfare. They wouldn't come if there weren't benefits. Imagine a place where you were allowed to immigrate with certain, you know, if you met certain conditions, but like the only guarantee was that there were no guarantees. You're not guaranteed a house. You're not guaranteed a job. You're not guaranteed any sort of integration program. You're not guaranteed any sort of financial assistance whatsoever, but you're welcome to go and be a part of it and, you know, try yourself out and see if you can fucking make the cut and on your own in this kind of like free market society. I think fucking that would weed out like fucking 95% of people that immigrate to any country. The main reason I think people fucking leave is because they don't want to fucking change anything about their lifestyle, but want to go somewhere that their lifestyle is going to be fucking made a lot easier, celebrated, exalted, what have you. There could be many different reasons. And it's, yeah, Trollmaster says they get so many handouts, it's sick, and they're pulling $150,000 a year salary on top of that. I know, man, I can relate. And, you know, so for every man for himself. Okay, like I'm gonna use a skateboarding analogy. In skateboarding, there are no fucking rules. There were a long time ago, okay? In the 70s, when it came out, like there were kind of rules to it. Like there were competitions, but the competitions were very restrictive. You had to wear fucking dolphin shorts. They set up fucking pylons. The boards were super small because they started when people would fucking steal their sister's roller skates and take the fucking wheels off and screw them onto a 2x4, a little piece of 2x4 when surfing season or when surfing wasn't great. And they try to surf like on the streets, you know? And then, yeah, rules came along and regulations. And they decided the skateboard has to be this shape. You're only allowed to do A, B, and C. You have to go through cones. You can spin around, just spin around. You have to have your hands on your hips, shirt tucked in, and you have to be looking at the judges, like smiling, because poise counts. So this lasted a couple of years, actually, surprisingly. And, you know, it was like pretty heavy in competition and that. And then basically, like a couple of people, you know, the dissident sheep, like said, fuck that. Like, I'm just going to fucking do my own thing. And one of these guys is Steve Rocco. I'm going to make another video about this guy because this guy is like the fucking, he's kind of, he's a now, but I don't give a shit about now. For almost 30 years, this guy revolutionized fucking skateboarding. He made skateboarding profitable. He made it marketable. He made it so that, oh man, this guy was so fucking not PC. This guy's board graphics were fucking amazing. And just to give you an example of this guy wanted to run an ad in a magazine years ago. And the ad had a skateboarder in black and white, looking like really depressed, sitting on a curb, and he had a gun pointed to his head. And it was an ad for this guy's skateboard company. On the bottom, it said, that feeling you get when you can't land your trick or something. So the editor of the magazine, he called up Steve Rocco. That's the guy that wanted to run the ad. And he says, yeah, you know, my friend in high school 20 years ago commit suicide. And Steve Rocco's like, yeah, I'm sorry for your loss. But why are you telling me this? And he says, because you can't fucking run the ad. And Steve's like, well, okay. And he says, while you're at it, how about you make a list of everything else that could possibly fucking offend everybody and send it to me. And then I won't run any ad like that. And the guy's like, no, you don't get it. He's like, I'm not running your ad in this magazine. And Steve's like, yeah, okay, fuck you. I'm going to start my own fucking magazine. And that's what he did. And man, there's a documentary on YouTube about it. It's called Steve Rocco, the Man Who Sold the World. Sold spelled like soul, SOULED. It's awesome. He's like the fucking Trump of skateboarding. All of fucking Trump's best qualities, his anti-establishment qualities, man, like, and a fucking pure capitalist. And he changed the game several times over and over again. And why I mention him is because he's basically one of the first guys to, and he was a competition skater. He was really good, really good, always first place. He and Rodney Mullen, first place all the time. And he decided one day that it was fucking bullshit. And he ran an ad in a magazine for his new company. This was before the suicide ad. So it was actually a mainstream magazine. And he was doing like a trick that you were supposed to only do like in a half pipe. And he was doing that like on the sidewalk. And people thought like, what the fuck is this guy doing? This guy's a fucking like weirdo. And, you know, people saw the ad and it created a divide because half the people are like, that's really fucked up. And the other half is like, that's kind of cool actually. And, you know, he slowly went about recruiting his team. And basically him doing those weird tricks turned into what is known as street skating today, which is, you know, 35, 40 years later, almost still the most fucking popular version of skateboarding. It's everything. It's fucking everything. It's not, well, it is how it started. And it's crazy because that's where it's gone to now, you know, and It's crazy that this guy started it, among so many other things. And that documentary that I told you guys about, The Man Who Sold the World, especially if you don't skateboard, you should fucking watch it. This guy's a fucking genius. He capitalized on his fucking environment, and man, just watch it. So again, about skateboarding, anarcho-capitalism, every man for himself. This is the way I see it. You know, I have a fucking simplistic philosophy, and I have blinkers on kind of, and it's, you know, I'm in my bubble, and that's how I like it. And I try to make it so that I have the least amount of interferences from sheep, if you will. So, you know, at the skate park or anywhere, skateboarding, nobody really teaches you. People can give you tips, you can ask, but ultimately, like, you have to go through the motions yourself, like anything else. The learning curve is steep, and it's hard to do. A lot of people quit early, but no rules. You do what you want. 95%, 99% of the tricks that are done on a skateboard, the skateboard was not meant to be able to do. And this isn't because people thought, okay, what are all the tricks that people have done? I'm going to do one better. No, it's because people had no fucking idea. They just got a toy and they played with it, and unrestricted, look what it's become. And it's crazy. It's fucking mind-boggling. Even the difference, like, it's crazy. It's exponential, you know, every 5 years or 10 years, and yet timeless at the same time. So a trick that's nicely done, those around 20 years ago, it doesn't matter how basic the trick is, whether it's like a flip trick or a grind or something. If it's done clean, if it's done properly, it's legit as fuck. So it doesn't have to be like Tony Hawk, like combo shit. So, you know, when you're skating with other people, like, for the most part, it's a self-actualizing activity. Like, I think most things are, or they should be, at least. Trollmaster says I train in jiu-jitsu. The way you describe skateboarding is how I describe the way I roll. It's fucking wicked, man. I had a friend, he used to do Muay Thai with me when I did that, and he had sampled all the martial arts, and he does jiu-jitsu now. That was the one that he did for the longest amount of time. He swears by it. He loves it. You know, I have nothing against it. I just, you know, I do other stuff now. I'm not going to say I don't have time. I probably could fit it in somewhere, you know, train a 2-hour training session, you know, several times a week. But it's hard to be good at a lot of things. It's not impossible, but it's hard. It's hard to be good at one thing. It is. And, you know, as you get older, I'm not going to say, oh, you start to suck. No, but or I'll rephrase it. As you gain more experience, you learn what you like more and what you like, but not as much, and, you know, what you don't like. And, you know, I just got my focus, I guess. And, you know, I did martial arts actually when I quit skateboarding because I thought it was time to grow up, and I replaced it with martial arts, and it was cool. And then I went back to skateboarding, you know, for a couple of reasons. It wasn't like a conscious choice like that, but they just like naturally replaced each other. And, you know, it's cool. Fuck. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, I think. And anytime skateboarding with other people, you basically go skate and you do your own thing. That's it. No other obstacles. Everyone skates on the same obstacles. Generally, people wait their turn. And generally, even though it's every man for himself, someone fucking, sorry, some idiot customer fucking messaged me, fuck. They're not all idiots, but this guy is a fucking idiot. So, you know, you're skateboarding, you're doing your own thing. There are other people around. And when someone does something cool, a lot of the time people fucking cheer and they clap. You don't have to. But if you think it's cool, like, yo, give the guy some fucking applause, man. He'll do the same for you. And it's fucking really cool because no matter how good you, okay, if you're fucking incredible, like, people just sit down to watch you. But, like, it doesn't matter if it's like a beginner. If he's trying a fucking easy trick and he's trying it like 20 times, like, when he gets it, everybody cheers for him. This is every man for himself, remember. You know, it can never work. You know, there can be no progress every man for himself. You need government to regulate fucking everything, including skateboarding. It has to be about homosexuals now, which it is. Fuck. Oh boy. So, you know, this, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not talking about the industry side of it, but like the sport aspect, it's a very close approximation of how I see the free market. You know, it's a little mini kind of like truly libertarian society, and you can do what you want. You're allowed to work with other people. No one's forcing you, and you get as good as you fucking practice. And if you ask someone who's better than you or who can do a different trick than you, if you ask them like, hey man, do you have any fucking tips? I tried that shit over. I can't do it. Like, they'll almost always gladly help you. Only man, it's like fucking 1 in 100 people that are going to tell you to fuck off if you ask them, like, you know, for some help. And a lot of them are going to fucking try to like fucking help you anyway. Like, no matter what. That's just the fucking way it is. You fall down, you eat shit. Like, if someone's passing by, like, he'll bring you your board and he'll help you up. It's not written anywhere. It's just the universal good, I guess. You know, and yeah, not everybody does this all the time, but most people most of the time, for sure, hands down. So things can't progress or things would be crazy. You know, the way leftists or even a lot of fucking conservatives even yell about like anarcho-capitalism is that everyone's going to be fucking stomping on all over each other just to get one thing. It's not like that, fuck. That's the mob. That's people that are unfit to live in a society like that. So yeah, it's true. They would probably fucking loot, but they would never fucking make it there. They would never be there in the first place. No benefits? What, I have to build my own house? Well, but no fucking unions? Like, what do I do? But I need stability. I need security. You know, I need my pension. It's like, yo, man, like, all right, like, keep fucking dreaming, man. So, you know, again, that's like, it's not my debunking thesis, but that's just how I see it. And I think the application fucking works. So now, on a lighter note, the next thing I want to talk about, because I titled this fucking stream Sluts and Shit. So if you guys saw when I navigated the Matrix with Jamie and Charles F. Gray, I did not download and upload it on my channel. It eats up a lot of data. They have it on their channels. Watch it on their channel. It's on Jamie's channel, I think. It's on both of them, actually. Yeah, but check it out. It's very fucking good and entertaining stream. Lots of laughs. Just fucking all around fucking good time. And I told the story then, but I'm going to tell it again. And I put it fucking on my list of things to talk about. It's a fucking good one. And it's about a slut named Ariane. Now, the name is relevant. So I went out on a date with this girl 3 years ago. I haven't seen her in 3 years, by the way. So it's hot in here. We got the fire going. So I go out on a date with her 3 years ago. And at the time, I was dating often. And, you know, not every day, but often enough. You know, when I fucking get horny, yeah, I'd buckle down and I'd like do my shit for like a couple of months or whatever. And then, you know, it's time to go hunt. It's time to go hunt. And I'd go and I'd try to fucking, you know, I'd always come home with something at the end. I didn't succeed every time, but I didn't stop until I fucking got what I wanted. So, you know, it'd be like a few months off. And then for a week or two, I'd go on like a fucking killing spree. And, you know, that's just the way a fucking cookie crumbled. So this was, you know, on one such occasion. And I talked about this in the video with Darren. Chilling with MGTOW is the only way to live. It's on my channel. It's a good video, man. If you guys watch him, I don't know if you know or not, if you haven't checked in here in a while, but I did a video with Darren at my house around 4 months ago. It's on my channel. It's called MGTOW is the only way to live, just like his channel. And it's just me, him, and Mark fucking chilling on the couch, shooting the shit, having beers together, you know, for a little over an hour. Good video, fuck. And I think it's always good to see like people just in their natural element. So yeah, I would go on a date with this girl, and I had a rule back then. that I tried purposely not to fuck on the first date. Not that they would be all over me or anything. Like, look, it's happened before, but you know, when I had less experience, I had to go for the fucking fuck. I had to. And I got rejected fucking all the time, fuck. And then I'm, oh, well, at least I'm going to go in for the kiss, you know, the makeout at the end. Even on a shit date, fuck, I would like go for the makeout. Because in my head, it's like, yo, I sat here for an hour. Yo, I earned this shit. So, yeah, whatever, fuck. So, this girl. So I also, my fucking, so I developed like a minimum 2, maximum 3 date rule. That's how much time it takes for me to fucking should fucking have sex with them. You know, it should take no more than fucking 2 dates, 3 if it's like of my own volition. You know? And not just the fucking sex, unless it's like really crazy extenuating circumstances. No kissing, no making out first date, no nothing. Just to like make sure that like I'm fucking attracted to you, and if I still like you, then maybe I'll call you, and that's it. Fuck. And so this was one such occasion. So we met up at a bar. The first thing I told her was that, well, basically that I can't drink too much. I don't drink often. I have a low tolerance. I don't really like it. I mean, I like it a little bit, but I don't like feeling sick. The tolerance is so low. I have to stop early. I have to pace myself. And, you know, that's why. And I drive everywhere. So I drove. This fucking bitch doesn't drive, you know, trendy bitch with a condo downtown. But so many girls I fucked were all like that. And yeah, it sucked at first, but the other thing is that they don't drive. They're never going to come to see me. Never, ever, ever. So when you get tired of them, it's like you just stop fucking going there. It's like they don't care. It sucks, yeah, if I was looking for someone to like marry or something, but yeah, I don't fucking care. So who gives a fuck? They just leave after fuck. So this was one such circumstance. And first date, things are going well. We're just making small talk. I'm not saying anything offensive, you know, I'm just fucking playing it by the book. And she fucking goes, she's like fucking getting hammered though, fuck. So I have 1 pint, and after 1 pint, and she had 2. And I think she drank before. And like she had her hair in a ponytail, and then she went to the bathroom, and like she came out, and she had her hair down, and she chugged the rest of her beer, and she ordered another one. And so I'm like looking at her, and then she tells me, she's like, you know, you look like Rick Grimes from Walking Dead. I'm like, how drunk are you? In my head, you know, I'm like, oh, thanks, you know, like, whatever, fuck. So, you know, she fucking drinks her next pint, like, pretty fucking quick also. She drinks every day, you know, she drinks craft beer and shit. And she drinks craft beer, so, look, it's not my first rodeo. And naively in the past, I had gone on first dates with girls, very, very, very benign when I was in my early 20s. And I was like the perfect fucking simp and everything. Nothing happened, like respectable, hold the door, all this shit. Like no talk about sex, nothing good really. And at the end of the date, I'm like, oh, you know, I'll give you a lift home if you want. Like I'll drop you off. And they're like, huh, I don't want you to know where I live. It's like, bitch, no one's raping you. I'm just fucking being nice, fuck. So I know better than to offer them a lift to their house, you know, especially like if I kind of fucking like them, you know, or if I kind of put a penis inside them. So yeah, better fucking be aloof and wait till next time. So I tell her, which is the line that I used to use that worked. I asked them like, oh, how do you get home usually? She's like, oh, taxi or something. And I said, oh, if you want, I can drop you somewhere nearby. I said, I don't need to know where you live. It's cool. You know, just fucking tell me a fucking intersection. I'll leave you there. And then you can hitchhike the rest of the way, I said. And she's like, no. She's like, you can drive me home. You can drive me to my door. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, fuck. But my intent also, like, honestly, it was just to fucking drop her off and leave. You know, I didn't expect to be getting anything. Like, so, you know, there's like, I pull over in front of her house. and there's a fucking there's a fire hydrant right next to me, and I pull over for the fire hydrant. It's like fucking 2 a.m. or whatever, and in my truck, I'm like, all right, it's cool, see you later. And she's like, oh no, you can't park here. I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm not fucking parking here. I'm just dropping you off, And she says, no, you can't park here. She's like, park up the street. And I'm like, but she's like, and come inside. And I'm like, come inside. I'm like, she's like, yeah, have a beer. And I'm like, but I can't drive, I'm like, I'm past my limit. I've had 1 pint and I waited like 2 hours kind of. So fuck it, like George Costanza, right? I didn't know coffee meant sex. Coffee keeps me up all night. I don't want to come. So yeah, she's like, come in for a beer. And I'm like, beer? I'm like, I have to drive home. She's like, come in for a beer. She's like, you don't have to drive home. She's like, park there. I'm like, all right, cool. So I park fucking, one spot up the street, and I go into her apartment, and she like hands me a beer. She's like, this is my last craft beer. It's like an award-winning craft beer or something. And she's like, you know what this means? My head, I'm like, yeah, you're a fucking pretentious fucking hipster bitch. But I'm like, yeah. I'm like, thanks, But it basically meant I was spending the night. So then she says, I drank like, I don't know, I drank maybe half of that beer. And I'm not like doing good, man. So I'm at like 3 beers, 3 hours in. I'm feeling nauseous, guys. I am not a fucking drinker. And I'm fucking, oh man, the room's like almost spinning. But I'm still trying to think. So she tells me, she's like, she says, like all like fucking loose voice and like fucking slurring your speech practically. But I don't, shit's like blurry to me and everything at this point. Like, so she says, I find that there's no intimacy anymore in sex. And she says, people watch too much porn. And I find that it takes away from the value of like everything. And she tells me this like, well, I'm hammered. So my head, but even if I were sober, if someone would tell me that and I didn't know better, I'd think, okay, this person is fucking tired of fucking meaningless porn sex and they want something fucking kind of real, right? And she even told me before, she says, I want like more than the comfort of a one night stand, but not like a serious relationship. Yeah, it's cool, fuck, whatever, fuck. So, so she says this, so I'm thinking, I'm like, all right, fucking nail this girl, but I'm gonna like tell her like nice things too at the same time. So we fucked, but while we were fucking, I almost threw up, man. I was like trying not to puke, just trying not to puke like so bad. And so the next morning, it was good. She was fucking screaming. I remember at one point, because she was like making a weird face and shit. I'm like, what's wrong? Like, am I hurting you? Are you okay? And she's like, no, I'm awesome right now. I'm awesome. Like, hey, cool, fuck. So the next fucking morning, and this is like a fucking, I don't know, it's like 4 a.m. at this point, and she had to work the next day at fucking like 6 a.m. But no big deal for her, fucking alcoholic, man. She like drank like all the fucking time. So meanwhile, like I'm thinking, I'm like, well, I have like a two to three like date rule, and shit just went to hyperdrive on the first date. Like my game must be fucking through the roof, iron game. Like I'm fucking awesome, I could just be like, hey, have you ever seen The Walking Dead? Like, I'm Rick Grimes' younger brother. Let's have sex. But that wasn't the case. So, it's like, look, I offered to drop this girl at an intersection near her house. She fucking invites me in. She sucks my dick. Fucking fuck. And then she tells me before that like sex is too pornographic and she likes intimacy, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. So I get up before her even, because the time I usually get up, it's like she works at 6. I wasn't even working at the time. I was getting up at like fucking 4 a.m. And she gets up at 5:45. She fucking rolls out of bed, like throws on like a dirty shirt with like sex hair from the night before and then goes to fucking work. Yo, I could never do that. Fuck. Well, I could when I was like fucking 15. Like, so, you know, at the same time, like, yeah, I'll drop you off at your work. Fuck. And it's on the way. And I drop her off. It's like fucking 2-minute drive. I'm like, all right, this is cool, you know? And she's like, yeah, let's do it again soon. And I go to kiss her and she fucking turns away and gives me the cheek. I'm like, huh. I'm like, that's fucking weird, you know? Mind you, this is, you know, a little while ago. Like, I know a little more now than I did then. Meaning I would never fucking do that fucking gay shit now. But, you know, in the spirit of full disclosure, it's relevant to the story, fuck, because that's what fucking happened. And these are the consequences of me doing that. So, yeah, she gave me the fucking cheek. And stupidly, fuck. You know, I drove home. I'm like, yeah, cool. But I was like happy I got laid on the first date, but I was focused on my failure. I'm like, why did she turn away? Why? What's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? What didn't I do enough? So the next fucking, so I even texted her like later on that day. I'm like, oh yeah, like that was fun or something. Like, thanks for the beer. Like a little more like, or like, I don't know. I wrote like next time, like I'll bring the beer, some shit. Like I owe you, like winky face. I don't know, some gay shit. But so she doesn't answer. It's like, okay, fuck. And, you know, I go home. I go about my day. I did some fucking errands and shit with Mark. Like, you know, whatever. So, next day, I don't hear shit from her. She never fucking answers me again. And, like, we don't really talk all week. And then she messages me and I like blow her off or whatever. And I message her back. And, you know, like a few days later, we make plans for a second date. And I'm like, all right, like I'm going to fucking bang this girl again. First and second, I might get to the bottom of like, you know, why I couldn't like really like master it and like train her, you know, to like not turn away from me for something so mundane as a kiss, you know, and you just fucking blew me like an hour before. You had no problem swallowing my fucking semen last night, fuck. Anyway, so we have a second date, and in my head, you know, I'm being a fucking simp, and I remember that she told me she drank fucking craft beer and like IPA beer and shit, so I went to the liquor commission near my house, because they don't sell any of that at grocery stores. And I looked for like the fucking snootiest, fucking most pretentious, most overpriced fucking beer from micro breweries and shit. And I don't know, I think I spent like $50 on fucking a couple of bottles of beer, and they were weird fucking sizes, and they don't have bags there. Like there are no bags there. And anyway, like I didn't know which ones we were gonna drink. Fuck. Like, I'm not going to drink all that shit. So, I don't know. I think I spent like $25 or something. And I thought like she'd appreciate it. She didn't even know. But it's like, yo, you gave me your last fucking IPA beer. Here's like a couple for you. Thanks. I appreciate it. Let's fuck. So, like a fucking simp, man. And it's winter time, but it's like not that cold. And I know. And we were going to a restaurant first. So, we split it, by the way. I never fucking pay for them. Well, never. I bought the beer. She gave me one. I wasn't planning on leaving it all at her house, you know? It's like, I'm gonna bring this, drink what you want, the rest I'll take home. I don't know. Maybe I was. I don't give a shit. It wasn't a fucking big deal. So, and this is me thinking that, okay, like it's gonna keep going on because, you know, there's so many stories, you know, especially every guy is gonna tell you that, you know, as soon as, no matter how ugly they are, even fuck, they'll tell you that as soon as they fuck a girl, you know, the girl just won't let them go. No, I never had that. Never. Not once, fuck. Not once, fuck. Like, it's like, yeah, cool. And man, like, they couldn't fucking walk after. They were fucking limping. Like, they would fucking scream all night. And no woman would make a face that ugly on fucking purpose. No woman would fucking drool out of her fucking nose to, like, fake fucking orgasm during sex, you know? And, you know, fucking send me messages after telling me they can't walk and shit. And they're like, you know, like the shit is real. So I know it's not that, but I've never had like the, oh, you're mine now. It's like, yo, this guy fucked me, and like now I'm gonna go about my day, and like it's cool, and that's it. So, you know, this girl, like I was like still in fucking simp mode. I'm like, oh, why can't, you know, it's fine, like I fucked her, but why can't like I have a relationship? It's like, yo, who gives a fuck, man? You're getting the best part. And instead, so yeah, like she fucked me and she gave me beer, and like instead, I'm like, no, I don't want that. I insist that I honorably repay you for your beer with interest, and I want a relationship, like, you know, type thing. Like, obviously, it's fucking wrong. Fuck. So we have the second date. I put the beer in a cooler, and I go up the stairs with a fucking cooler, like a fucking simp, man. And the cooler was even dirty at first. But because I was like semi dressed up, I didn't want to fucking get like filthy from the cooler. It was like in my yard or something. So I washed it and shit, you know. So I go up the stairs with the fucking cooler and like, whatever, fuck. I banged her again. But she was a real fucking bitch that time, fuck. Especially after. This girl takes up the whole fucking bed. And anytime I like scratch or like fucking breathe or move my toe, she'd fucking huff and puff. And she's like, why can't you get to sleep? It's like, yo, you're fucking lying on my fucking arm. I gotta scratch my balls or something. Let me do it. And she fucking, you know, just, So again, like a fucking simp, man. It's like, all right, well, I'm tired, fuck. I'm not gonna fight with this fucking bitch, man. So I fucking like take one of the blankets, fuck, and I just fucking sleep on the floor. And that was wrong also. And there wasn't so much to like honor her, but it was, yo, I gotta go to sleep. So the fucking floor is there. You're there taking up the whole fucking bed, man. What the fuck am I, yo, floor is there. So go to sleep on the floor. She had any fucking integrity, she would have been like, yo, don't sleep on the floor. I slept on the fucking floor. That'd be fucking you, right? So, yeah, I didn't offer to drive her to work the next day. I learned my lesson from last time. And, you know, I just fucking left with a fucking sour taste in my mouth, fuck. And, yeah, it wasn't that great. It wasn't that fucking great. And she was a bitch, fucking. That fucking, you know, the sleeping thing, I actually downplayed it, but that lasted for like fucking 3 hours, you know? It was a fucking ordeal. So whatever. I went home, went about my business. Next week, third date. And I tell myself, I'm like, yeah, all right, I learned from my fucking mistakes. Be firm. Firm. Don't, none of this fucking sleeping on the floor shit. Even if I never see her again. Tonight, I'm going to have my way with her. And I'm going to leave. It's going to be on my own terms. And she's going to fucking text me back. And I'm not going to fucking answer. So, I know, yeah, she was supposed to meet up with her friend before, who's a guy, and like go to fucking Vermont, which is like an hour and a half away. And they're going to spend the weekend there. But it was platonic. And they were going to drink. Yeah. Whatever. Right. Platonic, okay? This girl, you know, she's so aloof with all these platonic male friends. I wonder if she's having sex with any. No, she says it's platonic. But yeah, stupid, naive me, simp, benefit of the doubt, whatever. So we got the third date, and yeah, exactly. TJH, man. He says, yeah, be firm with her. And we got Ellie Hu, the young MGTOW. What is a business is, and we have international adventures. Let's go to Thailand and live like kings. I've heard about that, but you know, a lot of people, I think, what do you call it, like the expat lifestyle? Like they have good things to say about that. I'm not against it. I don't know anything about it, so I don't advocate it. That's all. Now, so we're at a place, and yeah, like we fucking banged right away. Fuck, no problem there. And right after I fucking nailed her, fuck, it's like, I don't know, it's like a little after midnight. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, see you later. And her jaw fucking drops. And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm going home. I'm like, it was cool, but like, we're done, right? And she's like, well, yeah, but I thought, I'm like, look, I'm like, no offense, but we both sleep differently. Last time, you know, it was just a fucking pain. So it's better if I go home. And like, that's it, fuck, you know? She's like, oh, so I fucking go home. And then she fucking texts me later. And she's like, are you mad at me? Like, so I don't fucking answer, obviously. Yeah. And I don't fucking answer. And like, you know, fucking, I think the next day she fucking messaged me again. It's like, all right, that was a fucking way to do it. No sleeping on the floor. Just fucking go home. It's better. So the thing is, you know, I didn't know any of what I know now. I was going through hood rats then, thinking that, you know, you go through enough hood rats and you find one that's not one. Now, maybe that's the case. It hasn't been the case with me. They were all fucking hood rats. So, and I thought also that kind of depended on you, you know, like if you treat them better, then they can become better. No, you cannot turn a hood rat into a fucking lady. Well, I can't. Maybe you can. And I'm not being sarcastic. I'm just saying I can't. So I'm reading this fucking book, and one of my favorite author, David Gemmell, I fucking talk about him like all the time, but I'm reading a book by him, and there's a fucking character in it. You know, he's like the main character, and he's got like his band of fucking warriors or whatever that go along with him. And there's a fucking woman, like a younger woman, like early 20s or whatever. And like she's really attractive, but she doesn't fucking talk to anybody. She's a cold ass fucking bitch. She doesn't talk to anybody. But at night, you know, every couple of nights, she gets fucking hammered. She gets fucking wasted. And when she gets wasted, all she wants to do is fuck. And she just wants to fuck like one guy, right? Like the main character. And someone even asked her, he's like, bitch. She's like, what's with you? You know, how come you're such a cold bitch? So now it's like, and she's like, oh, I just want to be like penetrated or whatever. And like, okay, so, you know, sound familiar? Sound like any recent situation? Now, the girl's name that I was fucking was Ariane. The girl's name in the book, I fucking shit you not, Gary Ann. Like Ariane with a fucking G in front. Like cosmic. And that's it. It's like, and then I realized, I'm like, it's not that, you know, well, I was doing everything wrong, but I was looking at it wrong. She's just a slut that likes to get drunk and fuck. Like, really? That was it. And when I understood that, it's fucking easy. I distanced myself from her after that because I wanted to take this newfound knowledge and use it on other sluts or women. But, you know, I had that now. I could kind of tell because I wanted to believe at the time that they were all good, you know, and that the problem must be with me. But it's like, no, they're fucking slutty women. And she even told me that, like, she asked me how my love life was. Like, I think the second time I fucked her, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's our second date. And she's like, have you fucked anyone, like, in between? And I was like, no. That was, like, fucking 5 days ago, fuck. And she's like, because I wouldn't mind if you did. And it's like, what? You should. I would care, fuck. Like, what the fuck, man? But she really wouldn't. And, yeah, she's just a fucking slut. And that's it. You know, I put it way too high of a pedestal. So that next day, I had a fucking date with another girl who was a fucking bitch, man. She was a bitch. And she was so nice when I talked to her first. But like TJH said, hi, yeah, be firm with her. And I learned it the night before. Like, you got it, or, you know, I'm going to try. I'm going to fucking try. And anytime, the other one too, she was really condescending. Like the slut. She didn't drive. And like all these stupid bitches that don't drive, they turn it around on you. Like, oh, it's not that like I spend all my money on alcohol, but the real reason I don't drive is because I care about the environment, and you wouldn't understand that because you have a big truck. It's like, no, I have a job, so I have a truck because I put shit in it and I use it to work. Like, that's why. Like, oh, and it's also good to fucking run over fucking hippies with it. Yeah, so fucking tell your friends, bitch. I'm coming for them. If they come at me only, you know, stand my ground. That's all I'm saying. You know, I'm not inciting violence or anything. It's like, I don't know if J-Lloyd, you're still here, but did any of you guys see the Sam Hyde video about Lena Dunham? And he has like a fucking AK-47 or whatever, and he's talking to the camera, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill Lena Dunham, then we'll fucking blow her head off, and we'll fuck shit up, and I'm gonna fucking step on her neck and shit. But like, only if she comes at me. You know, I would never do this on my own, but like, if she comes at me, I'm saying, it's fucking funny, man. It's good. But yeah, so if she comes at me, I'm gonna, yeah, it's funny. So if she comes at me, I'm gonna fucking rebuff with extreme fucking prejudice. Hey, Dr. Omni, what's up, bro? So, so this next fucking girl, okay, again, lives in the city. I live in the suburbs. So I gotta fucking drive over there. But whatever, because when I want to fucking end the relationship, all I have to do is not go there. And what? You're never gonna come see me. You're never gonna even like ask how to get to my house. Just assume that I'm gonna come get you. So this other bitch fuck, she tells me as soon as I meet up with her. Okay, and look, it's December 15th. Very no, we were having a mild winter, like not much snow, but still very cold. But the streets were dry. So it's December 15th, and I like skateboarded and shit. And she tells me that there's like a corner store near her house, and you know, if we want to get alcohol, like, because parking was a fucking bitch in her neighborhood. So she's like, yeah, if you want, like, you can bring your board, and when we go to get beer, like, I'll take my bike, you can take your board, and like, it'll be fucking a lot easier. And I'm like, okay, fine, right? So I bring my filmer board, which has big wheels, because we're going to the middle of fucking Montreal, which is a city with fucking crazy fucking world potholes everywhere. It's like the worst place to skate on a fucking skateboard with like hard, small wheels, right? And there's cracks and there's gravel. It's wintertime. There's salt and sand on the road and shit. That's what the fucking trucks put on the ground, you know, so you don't fucking slip. So I get to this girl's house, and it's like a fucking triplex or something, and she lives on the fucking top floor. And, you know, I meet up. Who the fuck is this now? Oh, okay. Yeah, my upstairs neighbor. Okay, I'm going to keep it down a little bit. Yeah. I'm going to whisper. Sorry. No problem. Yeah, keeping it down a bit. So, yeah. So where was I? Okay, so as soon as I get to her place, she's like, oh, how does it drive here? And I said, well, it's okay. It was kind of far. And she says, well, if I knew you lived half an hour away, I never would have dated you. Like right off the bat. And I'm like, well, if I knew that you didn't know that, I wouldn't have dated you. Because it's a fucking idiotic thing to say. So, like, not starting off so good. So we go to the store to get alcohol, and we skateboard to the store, which is less than a block away. And when we leave, we don't go back to her house, but she takes off in the other direction. And I'm like, where are you going? And she's like, oh, to a spot or something. I'm like, that was, yo, a spot? It's like, yo, it's fucking cold, man. I don't want to drink fucking 40s in a park in the winter. I'm fucking like, I was 32, I think, or 33 years old at the time. It's like, I'm not doing this shit, fuck. So that's exactly what I did. And she's fucking booting it on her bike, going like fucking super fast. And she's not even stopping at fucking red lights and shit. Oh, it's like a fucking piece of shit 10-speed bike from like the fucking 60s that she found in the trash, obviously, because she's a trendy hipster. And then we were going straight, and I like kind of like caught up to her, and all of a sudden she fucking like turns in front of me, and I like stop. She fucking like keeps going, and I'm just like standing there, fuck, like, and she texts me. She's like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Where the fuck do you think, fuck?" Like, and at one point, even on the way to her spot, the spot was about, honestly, it was about 5 kilometers from her house. Okay, I'm not even fucking joking. It took over half an hour to get there, and the whole time, and I'm on a skateboard that goes really fast. It goes faster than a regular skateboard, and the whole time, she's like looking behind me. She's like, "Oh, hurry up, hurry up." I'm just like, I'm getting so fucking mad. I'm getting so mad. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, when we stop, fuck, it's like, I'm gonna fucking boot this bitch off the fucking bridge. You know, that's so fucking mad. And as I'm like thinking these thoughts, there's a fucking mop. Okay, a mop that someone fucking threw onto the fucking street as garbage, but it was like covered in dirt, so I didn't see it. And I fucking like rode into it on my skateboard. And I fucking ate shit, man. And I fucking like slid like on my face. And I was holding my phone in my hand to protect it. Yeah, it was fucking, I got fucking filthy, man. And I had cuts and shit. And oh man, like, yeah, my jacket was like ruined. Yeah, my fucking leather jacket. Because I had my skateboard to go like fucking like 30 seconds away, you know? And I don't need those actually. So it's actually easier for me to judge the volume. Insulation's not great here, so let me know if you have a problem hearing me, and I'll make the necessary adjustments. So when we get to her fucking spot, yeah, so I fell on this fucking mop, and I fucking ruined my clothes, fuck. I got all fucking scraped and bruised and shit. And she's like waiting for me like at the park or whatever. Cool, thanks, man. Audio is good. Let me know if you guys have a problem with it. So when we get to the park, she's like, "Oh, it took you so long." I'm like, someone put a fucking like mop on the street, and I fucking tripped over it, and I went fucking flying. And she's like, "Oh, you know, like we're still gonna have a good night." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think so." I'm like, "I wanted to tell you, I'm like, I'm not fucking down for this. I'm just gonna fucking go home." You know? And she's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Well," I'm like, "You're not really nice." She says, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well," I said, "I don't mind that you don't have a car. It's okay that you don't drive, but you acted like such a bitch when the first fucking 5 minutes that I met you. Then you basically shit on me because I was fucking people." I said, "Where's the sense in that?" And she says, "Well, you just don't understand." She says, "I have to live." I said, "Yeah, I know, in a trendy neighborhood, right?" So she's like, "I live in a very popular neighborhood." She's like, "It's not like wherever it is that you live. And over here," she's like, "the rent is so expensive that," she's like, "Again, it's not like you live, okay?" She's like, "You probably have like a really cheap place so you can afford a car, but it's like here it's different." I'm like, "No, actually, I have a car because I save my money and I work." And yeah, she was a daycare bitch, by the way. Fucking, she would get hammered every night, and she get hammered with the other daycare bitches. She would brag to me, and they would fucking sleep it off at nap time. And it's funny because about 10 years before that, I fucked another daycare bitch, and that was what she would do the next day too. And she would come to my house, and like we would fuck, and then the next day, she would text me all morning, like while I was at work. I'd get like fucking 20 texts at lunch, like, "Oh, so hungover from last night," or, you know, "So tired," like me and like Christy or whatever are fucking sleeping, and stupid shit. Fucking, they get paid to do that. And like I see this at lunch, you know, my break after like actually working hard. So yeah, another fucking, so this bitch was a daycare bitch, and she was really condescending about the fact that I drove and she didn't. And she says, "Yeah, well, it's just that there's no future for us." I said, "Yeah, you got that right." And she says, "No, it's because," she says, "if I won't ever see you, she says, I have to rent a car for the day." And I'm like, "Well, that's not my fucking problem." And at least, man, if you would offer, if you would actually like legitimately offer, I'd fucking come get you. That's never gonna fucking happen. So I get fucking, I'm pretty fucking mad. I'm like, look, I'm not down for this. I'm like, I'm going home. Okay. And my jacket's like all fucking like disheveled, and there's like gravel and salt and sand stuck in it and shit. So she fucking zips my jacket up and she like buttons it like around my fucking neck or whatever. And she's like, don't go home. She's like, I'm sorry or whatever. And she's like, there's like a bar right here. And she's like, it's cool if you don't want to drink in the park. I'm like, no, I don't. Who the fuck wants to drink in a park? Fuck. Like, fuck. Like Peter Pan complex. It's like, what the fuck's up with all you hipster bitches? You know, you fucking go dumpster shopping and you pay like a shitload of money for garbage products, fuck, and then you shit on everybody else that has their shit in order. Like, what the fuck is it with you people, you know? And no, so she's like, she apologized or whatever. And she's like, okay, like, we're gonna go here. She's like, we're not gonna. She's like, I'll pay for the 40s or the beer or whatever it was. I think it was 40s actually. She's like, I'll pay for it and like we'll leave it at my house. And I'm like, oh, whatever, fuck. And the bar is like on the way home, and you know where I'm parked, right? That's like home for me. And then I gotta like drive home after that. So whatever, fuck. So we go back to the bar on the way, and the deal was, I'm like, oh, I'll come in to like warm up or something, but I don't want to stay. So when we get in there, obviously she's like, oh, a game of pool. I'm like, nah, it's cool. Like I'm like, I'll have like a fucking club soda or something because I gotta drive. And you know, I drove down there and we were having a drink in the park, but that was when I didn't know, and I thought, okay, maybe, you know, I'll spend the night. But no, and I decided, so I told her, I'm like, yeah, look, no. So I'm warming up in here, I'm cold, I fell, you know, coming to your stupid fucking park, and no, I've had enough. So she's like, oh, game of pool, game of pool. I'm like, no. And she's like, oh, come on, you know, and she's like, it's like, what, you're afraid you'll lose? I'm like, I should lose. I'm like, I play pool like once every fucking 10 years, you know? I'm shit at it. So she's like, well, I play every day. I'm like, oh, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you're fucking awesome. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, don't worry, I'll give you a few tips. I'm like, oh, when you put it that way, I'm like, let's fucking play. You know, like sarcastically. And she puts $1 on the table. I'm like, all right, whatever. So she fucking looks at me and she's like, you can break. Like, and I'm like, yeah, okay, fuck. And I put the cue backwards. I put it backwards and I break because I'm a fucking noob or whatever. And I fucking smash that shit and a bunch of balls go in. And she's like, oh, I thought you said you never played. I'm like, I don't. That was fucking luck. And it was. It's purely random. I just hit it hard and I hit it in the middle. So after that, and I'm like, oh, it's just luck. And she's like, yeah. She's like, you're right, you know. And I go to take like my first shot, and you know, I have pretty like, my knuckles like stick up a lot. And ever since I was a kid, again, pool noob. Okay, I don't fucking play pool. I don't give a fuck about pool. So I put the pool cue between my knuckles, like the fucking noob way. So I'm about to take my first fucking shot, and she like screams at me. She's like, don't hold the pool cue like that. And it blew up. I'm like, bitch. I'm like, don't fucking tell me what to do. I'm like, you tell me what to do, I'm gonna fucking go home. And she's like, I'm just trying to help you. And I'm like, I said, okay, watch this. So you want to fucking help me? I'm like, look. I'm like, here's a white ball, and there's the ball that I want to hit. Now, the white ball lives in the city, and the ball I want to hit, it lives all the way in the West Island where I live. It lives a whole 20 minutes away. So there's no way that this ball can get all the way over there. Why, this ball would have to rent a car to get all the way over there. And she like, her mouth drops and fucking hit it and it goes in the hole. And I beat her that game, by the way. And then she's like, oh, 2 out of 3. I'm like, no. She's like, oh, please, please, please. I'm like, I'm like, okay, fine. And she won the second game, and I won the third. And then I fucking nailed her. And after, she wanted me to fucking stay over. And I'm like, no, fuck that. because we fucked at like fucking 5 in the morning or whatever. And her fucking gay roommate comes home, and she's like, "Wow, that was fucking amazing," you know, like telling me and shit. And then he comes home, and he's like, "Oh, how was your date?" You know, and before she can answer, I'm like, "Ah, it was okay." And she like freaks out, and the guy's like, "Oh," he's like, "Bitch, you love it." Yeah, fuck, like this guy knows fuck. So then she asks me, she's like, "Wait, come here." She's like, "You're going?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Okay." She's like, "Come in my room." So I go in her room, and she says, "Can I get it one more time?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I'm like, "Awesome." I'm like, "Let's close the door." So I close the door behind me, and she like lies on her bed like this, just like, "Okay, Greg, do all the work for me." So she lies on her bed. I'm like, "All right, here I go." And I fucking unbutton her pants. I unzip them, pull down the panties. And I'm like, "See you later." And yeah, fucking leave. It was good, fuck. And yeah, applying the fucking negative, not negative, not not being a bitch, being firm with them. You know, like, I'll fucking kill Lena Dunham if she comes at me, only if she comes at me. You know, I would never incite violence, but if Lena Dunham comes at me with intent to kill, then I'll fucking kill that bitch. So, like that, you know? So it's funny because the very next day, that same one who wanted to get it one more time, she fucking, she texted me back, but I didn't fucking answer because I was learning how shit worked. And I dated with a new girl. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to be extra firm with the new girl. And it's like the new girl drove, and like she had a car and shit. And I still went to her, the first date, but it was pretty good. And I didn't blow it or anything by fucking, but still ended up fucking naked, on the couch. And I'm like, "Oh, I gotta go home. Like, I can't, like, go next date. And next date, she's like, "All right, cool. Next time I'll come to you." And she did. That's another story. And the slut, Ariane, she has a part to play in that other story. And I would tell it now, but I just don't want to like go too overboard, with the fucking the slut stuff, because it's just kind of one dimensional. And this is at this point in time, I was making a lot of YouTube videos, but no MGTOW videos. I didn't know what MGTOW was, and my friends were simps. That when I would tell stories about like the story I told you. When I would tell stories like the stories I'm telling you guys right now, and like my friends were like, well, they say stupid shit, man. They're fucking simps. They're insecure, afraid of being alone, afraid of failure, afraid of trying. Yeah. Yeah, the new slut was hilarious. But wait, hotter than Lena Dunham? No, they were all in. The third one was the hottest one, but the second one was good. She had fucking huge tits. The first one had a pretty face, and she was slim, but she had a weird body. Like, it was just like weird. Like, the proportions were strange. Like, she looked better with clothes on than without. Big surprise. The second one, like, when she took her shirt off, the tits were fucking huge. It was surprising. I was like, yeah, cool. And no, the third one wasn't the hottest, but like on average, I guess. I don't know. But she turned out to be a fucking bitch also, but for different reasons. And that's probably the closest I ever got to being in an actual relationship with a woman, like, ever. Then it lasted around 3 weeks. And it's funny because J-Lord says, "What's your preference in chicks? White only?" I've dated mostly white girls. The fucking second slut was actually, she was Mexican, I think. And I fucked another Mexican girl. But she wasn't like a hardcore beaner, She not like she fucking it was weird. I didn't know she was Mexican even. Not that I fucking gave a shit. I just wanted to bang her. But she had like dark skin, and she grew up in France. So, you know, she spoke with like a French accent from Paris. But like she went to Egypt with her parents, and Egyptians would ask her if she was her parents' guide, you know, because they thought she was from there. And she said in French, c'est une sale race, c'est tellement une sale race. Je déteste les musulmans. She hated Islam. Fuck, she fucking hated them. She says, filthy race, filthy race. But yeah, no, like I don't have a rule for white only. I'm not really attracted to black chicks. Fucking Asian girl once, but I don't have yellow fever. I would say I have a preference for white chicks, but it's not written in stone. You know, I'm attracted to what I'm attracted to, I guess. So, yeah. What was I? I just got to check my list here. And oh yeah, okay. So, which ones can get a little crazy, J-Lord? What color? Other than all of them, the black one. Yeah, we know that. Anyone that watches. Say anyone that watches Tommy Sotomayor knows about black bitches, but anyone that's seen black bitches knows about black bitches. So yeah, not all, but like Jesse Lee Peterson says, most. And you know, demographically, they're the fucking demographically, I think they're the least desirable. Yo, Mark. Someone in the chat goes, "There's Mark. He probably has Asian fever." LOL.
I do.
He does.
I love Asians.
Very perceptive. He says, "I love Asians." The Mexican chicks, yeah. Yeah, the first one that looked Moroccan or like fucking Arabian or something.
Very Arabic.
Yeah, very Arabish in the face, like they say on Lilyhammer. But you know, her ex-boyfriend, I found out like later, was her first cousin. Like, what the fuck, man? And yeah, the other one had a whole bunch of fucking issues. Yeah, but yeah, I agree. Well, the two that I knew have been fucking crazy. And at this point in time, like you know, it's like an anecdotal, entertaining story in that, but I like to, you know, a couple of fucking red pills in there, you know, at least about what not to do. And, you know, you can succeed even if it's just in the short term. And look, there are no consequences for me after. I didn't get divorced, raped, or anything like that. I didn't get any of them pregnant. I always wore condoms. It's rare that I fuck a girl more than like, I don't know, 5 times. Like several times, like usually twice. It's like in one night, and then we might see each other once or twice after if it was really good, and then it's like I got what I needed to get, and it just fizzles away into nothing. And it's never been hard for me to end a relationship because I just have to be more of myself, and they just start to fucking hate me. And we all, at the time too, I was vegan. Because for those of you that don't know, I was vegan for 5 years and vegetarian for 10. I eat everything now. But so I guess a lot of them, they would find that out and they would put me into a category. And they thought I was like some edgy liberal vegan, but no, I eat vegetables, but I'm not what you think I am. I don't wear a fucking pussy hat. So when they realized that I'm not what they thought, and I'm not just like a nice guy with like a little bit, so like, wow, this is a really nasty fucker. Well, I just have to show them that. But and it's not hard, man. Like, get a Trump hat, even if you don't like Trump. And after you fucking bang the bitch, just put on your Trump hat and watch her. Watch her get triggered. You can go further. I still want to make a video about that, how to end a relationship or how to get rid of a girl. Like, have ways, fuck. Things you can do in your house. As long as you're not like worried about what other people think. Or if you are, you know, you can put them up only when she shows up. Yeah, we got a lot of decor, a lot of relationship ending decor. So it's good. It's good. So at this time though, I was making a lot of YouTube videos. I was making skate videos, and I was making a day in my life videos. And I was linking my YouTube channel on like the online dating sites. And it said something like, Like if you want to see like what I look like for real, not just a picture, and how I talk and shit, like this is the best way. Like I said it very briefly though, and I don't even think I said it. I think it just said about me, and I put a link to my YouTube channel, and I didn't write anything else on my profile, and it linked to a video. It's like a compilation of like all my skateboarding falls. That's just me like falling down over and over and over and over and over again. And then they check like the rest of the channel or whatever, and you see me skating and me talking or whatever. But it was nothing about MGTOW. Although I would like talk about all this shit, I just wouldn't call it this, and I wouldn't spend so much time because I didn't know there was a market of people that cared or wanted to listen. You know, I thought it was all people like my fucking simp friends that didn't know anything, thought they knew everything, fucking blue pill, fucking sheep of the masses. And it's like finding out, you know, that there's a right wing or like what conservative is or whatever, you know, whatever age that happens, when you're just used to hearing that you're wrong. And you're like, wait a minute, but like not only am I right, but there's a lot of other people that agree with me that I didn't even know existed. But I used to link my channel to the website, you know, but for those reasons, because look, it saves time. Ultimately, it saves time. You know how misleading people are with pictures and everything like that. It just saves time. It's easier. It's a fucking good move on my part, especially if I had a fucking cool channel. So it usually worked. But what I don't like is that, and at first it worked like pretty cool, but when I started to kind of really think, you know, really think about like why it was working, like it upset me. And, you know, the women demonstrated this that I had showed it to. And again, at first I didn't pay attention, but the more girls I would date that would watch my channel, it's like there's a lot of cool stuff on my channel. I put a lot of time and energy into it, and it did accurately describe the way that I was. But people get, and yes, the idea is for them to get a sense of who I am, but people think that they're like, okay, well, I've seen his channel, so I know everything about him. And it's like, I don't need to go out with him anymore. It's like, fuck you. Like, that's not why I showed you my channel. But the thing that happened more than that, and that didn't happen that often, but it still happened, you know? And, or they're like, oh, they text me like, I'm watching YouTube videos now. Like the fourth one, it's like, yo, we didn't even meet yet. It's like, watch one, okay, but like, watch a couple, but man, like, meet me. Like, that's the best experience. Watch the videos after if you want. I'm fucking flattered, but, and don't think because like you've seen what I've chosen to show you that like you know everything about me, you stupid bitch. Fuck, like, I'm just trying to get laid, like when all is said and done, or like at that time anyway. That's the only fucking motivation behind it. So, you know, I used to link the YouTube channel, and not so much like for that, but what really frustrated me was that they'd say like, oh, you know, I really like your skate videos. And I'd say, okay, thanks. And they'd say like, what else do you do? Or do you have anything else? Or do you have any videos about this? And it's like, where's your YouTube channel? And then I took it off. And it's not that like, cause it's bad to link it, but if it's another YouTuber, boy or girl or whatever, fuck. But in this case, like female, you know, fucking example's sake, fuck. And, you know, it's one thing if it's a fucking mutual exchange, but this is the equivalent of like you having a bunch of pictures of yourself and your life on your profile and sending them to someone who has nothing on hers. And, you know, why would you do that? Sure, like if you want to like pick like the fucking weakest, shittiest, easiest fucking target, then that would be a way to do it. And that was all I was doing. So, you know, I realized that and I stopped fucking doing it because that's like a really good way to like pay into hypergamy. You know, and I mentioned in the last stream, like giving fucking undeserved compliments, especially to ugly fat chicks and shit. Like that's kind of, obviously the state has a huge part to play, but even if the state didn't play any part in it, the way we fucking simp sometimes, not every time, but sometimes, and the levels to which people will stoop, you know, to just get a nut in, and the lies that they'll tell. Like, it's got people believing these lies, and no one wants to fucking do any work anymore. No one wants to even trade anymore. So yeah, the YouTube channel, I liked it, and I thought, oh, it's going to be cool. And I naively thought, even, you know, if I show my best self, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's going to fucking be a thing. Maybe other people put like a channel, or they're going to be encouraged to step up and, like, I don't know, show cool shit that they do. That's all it is anyway. It's look at me. But instead of saying look at these selfies, there are no selfies. It's just what I do. So check it out. If you're down, you're down. If not, that's cool too. But again, where the fuck's your channel? So yeah, no more. Because it's always that. It's what else you got? What else you got? What else you got? And ever since then, that's like, you know, I discovered MGTOW a little while after that. And, you know, not much has changed except that all my knowledge was like reinforced. You know, all my theories, like, they turned out to be true. Like, I knew about the wall and everything, but I didn't call it the wall. I had theorized that, you know, between 30 and 40, women just become retarded. And I had stupidly tried to date people my own age because I thought that was like the right thing to do. And anytime I would like fuck or like date or whatever, it was because things were going well. I had everything in order. And that's another thing I didn't understand. I didn't understand why there were so many fucking broken people out there that weren't even able to, like, you know, take care of themselves or function on their own, or who weren't even okay with the way they were. And so what can you offer a relationship? And the answers are not there to offer. They're there to take. They're there to take away from you. And all of them, I don't know. But a lot of the fucking broken ones, they won't even fix themselves. You know, like, there's so many girls that, like, can't do anything. You know, like, they're like on house arrest, or fucking, you know, there's like a jealous ex, or they can't walk, or like they're on depression, or they're on medical leave or whatever, or they have too many kids, or they have no job, and they're all online looking for dick. And even if it weren't online, like, look, man, everything is going to be online soon. It already is. You know, even your friends, right? Or even my friends, some of my male friends that I don't fucking hang out with anymore. They'd call me to fucking hang out with them, and then they'd, you know, facing the fucking screen the whole time. It's like, yo, dude, I drove an hour to get here. I'm like, talking to someone important or something, and I'm like, no, they're playing Brick Breaker or some shit, you know? Like, or checking their Instagram, like, who liked what. It's like, fuck you, man. Like, really, like, fuck you. So why would I just, you know, offer more simping on my part? No, it's just wrong. So Jaylord says, a friend of mine actually got this crazy leftist chick to blow him because he was wearing a MAGA hat. She said that sleeping with the enemy was a real turn on for her. Yeah, I can see that. Like I said, the MAGA hat's just a start. And it might work. Might work as a turn on. But I think honestly, like, if you don't give a fuck and you're yourself, like, when it's going to happen, it happens. And I don't mean like the one, but usually, maybe not every chick, but most of them, like, they'll appreciate a guy, like, with a little bit of fucking edge. You know, I don't want to get into like the whole like fucking alpha thing, but it's because I don't really have that much to say about it, other than I am not one. And there was a video I saw, a good video about Sigma males. Forget what channel it's on, but I'll mention it in next stream. But I'm sure you guys have seen it. You know, if you found my channel, you'll find the ones with, like, you know, thousands of views. But it was good. Another guy that talks about that stuff is the Lone Wolf. I think he used to be Danny's channel. This guy's a fucking cool guy too. I never spoken to him in person, but we've gone back and forth in the comments, and he's always courteous, and this guy's a fucking man, and he stands up for himself, and he stands up for his friends, and he stands up for the channels that he likes. And he has a lot of helpful content on his channel. So yeah, Lone Wolf or Lone Wolf Mindset. I forget. I think it's Lone Wolf Mindset. Anyway, if you guys know, correct me right in the comments, but you can find it easily enough. He's a good dude. And he made a good video about, you know, the Sigma male, like, for those of you who don't understand. but I'm sure everyone here probably understands. But you know, you guys take my name. And what else did I want to say? Yeah, I have a lot of stuff I want to talk about. And oh yeah, boy, yeah. What else you got? I'm gonna end it on this one, even though it's like kind of a sour note. But and it's a sour note, but the silver lining is that it happened. Yeah, I heard of LFA. Ugh, I don't. I know there's some guys that like say that he's not like a real MGTOW because he's like too good looking or something. I wouldn't go that far. But yeah, I've heard of LFA MGTOW. Like his content's okay. Like I'm not trying to shit on the guy, but I've seen like parts of like one or two videos, and it seemed like standard stuff that you get a lot of places. But I know that he has a lot of, he has a lot of subs and a lot of people like him. And also, I don't think he's a fucking huge fucking like Google fag fuck. I really, he doesn't strike me as a type to fucking bicker on Google Hangouts over stupid shit with other fucking avatars. Like he's a real person at least, fuck, like I believe he's candid in his fucking channel. But yeah, so the silver lining, the silver lining with this next fucking story, this next fucking bitch, this next what else you got bitch, she watched my fucking video on my channel that I fucking linked. And this is before I had the triple slut trifecta in 1 week. And it was a couple of days before. So I was talking to this other girl, and she saw my YouTube videos and stuff. And like, it's like we had a date in like, I don't know, 2 days or in a day or something like that. And she was watching some of my videos, and she decided that she liked them or something. So she texted me, and she said, I know it's like unorthodox or whatever, but instead of like, she said, do you want to like have a FaceTime call tonight before our date tomorrow? It's like, yeah, okay, fuck, why? And like, not really. But I did anyway, again, because I didn't fucking know shit. And we had the fucking FaceTime. And it was fine, like we were fucking talking shit. And this isn't the what else you got vein, like I said before. So we're talking and everything. And crispy bacon, what the fuck, man? I keep trying to comment on the video, but now my comments post in the chat. Am I banned or something? No, not at all, man. This is the first comment I saw by you. Nope, you are not banned whatsoever. Nope, just checking. Sorry for that. I don't know why that is. Maybe the YouTube overlords are onto you. But if they are, I guarantee you it is not because of me. Thanks for passing by the way. And yeah, no, I did not ban you or block you or anything like that. I have no problem with you. Yeah, so talking to this fucking girl, and we're talking on FaceTime or whatever, and things are going like okay. And I had recently quit my job, and I started printing my t-shirts back then, but I didn't have a printing press or anything. And yeah, YouTube censors comments, man. It sucks, man. Like I get that feeling too, man. Like I don't know which ones, and I don't want to be one of those guys that like blames all of his shortcomings on an algorithm or like censorship when they just fucking suck. Maybe that's really, I mean, that's my first go-to thought if something doesn't work. So so I'm talking to this fucking girl, and like I'm talking about, because she had a business too, and she was like a waitress or something, but she had like a fucking bead business or some shit like that, like purely like ornamental stuff. And she asked me, she's like, oh, do you know anything about like being an entrepreneur? And I'm like, oh, like, I started like a little t-shirt business, but like I'm learning, I stayed very modest, and I didn't have my nice printing press at that point. I had a very fucking rudimentary one, the first one I ever had. And it had like one design on it that I made, but I used that design like as creatively as I could. And I, like cool angles, cool colors. And it just said bridge burners on it. And I had a fucking like burning bridge behind it. And, I had like, it just said it once, but I would do it like 5 or 6 times on a t-shirt, all in different colors. And I had to wait for every color to dry to the next one. And no, not even close. No, that's later on, much later. But thanks anyway. So yeah, I made like some basic shirts. They're clean though and nice, but by no means like the craziest stuff I've ever done. And I had maybe 5 or 10. That I made, and on my website, and I took all my pictures and I uploaded them in the same way and everything, and I was really proud of myself. And so I said, yeah, I started like a t-shirt like business, and I'm just fucking I'm learning, and it's cool. And it was really cool because a week before I quit my fucking job, and it was a shit job. Fuck, it was okay like on paper, but it was shit. It was a fucking socialist fucking shithole. Literally, it was driving around in the square, stacking boxes, and it's like we're all one team, and everyone's fucking cutting corners, but you can't leave until everything's perfect. So there's always some poor chump that has to fucking clean up after everybody, and that was me. So, like the argument that, a lot of conservatives make, let's say, is, against socialism. It's a basic argument, but it holds true is that, when a small percentage of the people end up fucking paying for all the rest and they actually realize what's happening, like they'll just leave. And that's what I did at this job. I was sick of fucking doing everything for free. So I left. And, I had like, I was on the high and the euphoria you get, and then you start your own thing, and it's really cool. It's pioneer spirit. It's awesome. So I'm all too happy to talk to anyone about stuff like this. So, I'm talking to this girl, like just light conversation about that. And, t-shirts come up and she asks me if she can see them. And like, okay, but like, it's like they're pretty like plain, and I don't have like a store, I was like in my room like here, but in my old room, my old room, and I had the t-shirts like fucking hanging up in my closet, like in a special place so they wouldn't like get dusty or anything. And like, so I like brought them out like on hangers, and I was like really, I wasn't like there, get ready to like wet yourself, but I was like here, like I was really proud of my work. And man, she fucking scowled. And you could tell, man. Like my buddy upstairs, Justin, he said, because I told him the story. And it's like, she thought like, I don't know. She thought like at a factory or something. It's like my friend Justin upstairs, he said, he's like, what, she was expecting like FUBU or something? I'm like, yeah, bro, exactly. Come on, it wasn't fucking FUBU. Like they're made in my apartment, and and before this, and she was not impressed with them, and they weren't even offensive. Like, imagine if she had seen the offensive shit. She probably would drop her pants for that. Like you said before, J-Lord, about your friend that got that leftist chick to blow him because of the MAGA hat. I got laid like several times while donning my skate park rapist attire. And other things, man. I have a t-shirt of fucking, man, I'll make a video about that shit, man. I have some of the ones I made. Like, what the fuck, man? And like, the more you wear them, though, like, you just forget about it. At first you're like, oh, people are gonna know. Nobody cares. And anyway, just keep shoving it in their face. Things fucking lose their fucking edginess the more they're repeated. That's why I also advocate a lot that, people tell their stories, make MGTOW videos, saturate the market with fucking MGTOW content, call everything MGTOW. Everybody tell out themselves. They can't get all of us, fuck. And it's going to become the new norm. But whatever. So that's my thoughts on that. So yeah, so before that I showed this girl my t-shirts. Like again, this is December 10th, okay? It's like a few days before my date with the 3 sluts. So this girl too, like stupid fuck. She lives downtown, doesn't drive. Like and she wants me to bring my skateboard on her date. I'm like, why? And she's like, because I want to see you do some tricks. I literally want to see you jump through hoops. And I'm like, well, no, man. I'm like, look, it's fucking December. It's way too cold. And look, I'm not gonna fucking like get all sweaty, like skateboarding and ruining my board on like a dirty ass street to like impress some dumb bitch that doesn't know anything about fucking skateboarding. I'm like, look, I showed you my channel. You watch like all fucking, I had like fucking 70 videos at the time. She watched like all of them. Like watch all in a day. We watch like half of them. You have like another 35 to watch if you want, or watch them again. You know, but like, and she's like, yeah, but I want to see you do new tricks. It's like, you don't even know what any of the tricks are. You just know that you want more. So it's like, yeah, what else you got? What else you got? What else you got? And she wanted me to go skateboarding, like in front of her. And I'm like, well, where do you live? And she lives at like some like crazy, like fucking busy, like intersection. And obviously no place to skateboard. And like, I told her this, and she's like, well, you can just find a square on the sidewalk to like do your twirls or whatever. That's what she called it. She's like, your twirls or whatever. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. And, but you know, I said it nicely. Again, I didn't know shit. Now I'd be like, yo, fuck you. So I didn't know shit. So I said it nicely. And I did not bring my skateboard. But as soon as I showed her my t-shirts, she's like, oh, she's like, you know, and we're supposed to go out the next day. So as soon as I showed her my t-shirts, she's like, oh, you know, I should tell you, but I get like nausea or like gastrointestinal sometimes, and I can't predict like when it comes, and like it's coming now, and I don't know. I'm like, oh, like, so, what, like, are you gonna be okay? Are you okay, first of all? Like, you're good? And she's like, yeah, I'm good. It's like nothing crazy, but you know, it's like sometimes I can't like be places I said I'd be here, you know, because it hurts so much. It started to hurt. I'm like, oh, like, you don't know if you're going to be okay tomorrow, eh? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, like, poor baby. I'm like, okay. And she's like, well, you know, she's like, could you bring your skateboard to me? I'm like, no. Like, goodbye. And like, fucking hung up on her. And, you know, later again that night, she still texted me. And she, more of the same shit. Like, oh, hey, ask me what's wrong type of deal. And I'm like, again, this is before the 3 sluts. I didn't learn everything from the 3 sluts, but I learned a lot. And before them, I was still like always nice. So, you know, this girl, she's like, oh yeah, you know, ask me what's wrong. And I'm like, yeah, forget it, fuck. I'm like, just tell me whatever it is. Tell me, it's cool, just tell me. And she's like, well, I don't know how to put it in. I'm like, what, you're not down anymore? Just say it. Just say you're not down. Just say you're not down. And she's like, it's not that. She sends me like a wall of text. I don't even fucking read it. I'm like, yo, just say it. You're not down. It's cool. She's like, I'm not down. I'm like, great. Thank you. Cool. But again, you know, silver lining, 5 days later or the next week, I fucked 3 girls in 1 week. 1, 2, 3. And you know, how was that? Like, not the greatest week of my life, a good week. And a lot of other good stuff happened too. You know, I just quit my job, started a new business, wasn't making any money, but got a couple of blowjobs. Not bad. But those were my fucking simping days. And I wanted to talk about a fucking slut. Because I thought it was a fucking funny story. And a couple of little pills in there too. Little fucking good comments today too. So all the guys that fucking came by, thanks a lot for stopping by. I got an early rise tomorrow. I will not be going live tomorrow morning, but I would very much like to go live tomorrow night. I'm not sure if I will. It's Friday, but there's a vacuum for live streams, and I miss them. And I miss fucking taking part in them and stuff like that. And a lot of you guys, I've seen you around on other channels, and we hang out like kind of in the same spaces on the internet. And I'm always happy when I see someone from another channel that I like on my channel, or when I see people that I know from my channel on another channel that I like. It's always fucking cool. J Lord, Karen Marine, I've seen you guys around fucking places. Yorn too. Yorn's friends with my buddy Darren, and so is Grady Bake, formerly Grady Bake Gill, I believe. And I think you're friends with Charles F. Gray. Shout out to Charles F. Gray, fucking great guy. And hey, Forrest Arrow's here. How's it going, man? Glad to have you. Catching the end of the live stream. I'm not going to be going on for much longer, but thanks for stopping by, bro. And, what other channel was I mentioning? Oh yeah, another guy I like Jamie the Purple Pill. I always liked him. Again, I don't agree with absolutely everything he says, but I agree with most things he says, and like more importantly than that, I think he's a fucking chill guy, man. I've talked to him at length. He had me on his show, and like this guy gets a lot of fucking hate, man. He gets a lot of fucking hate, and it's fucked up because the live stream with me, him, and Charles F. Gray is on both of their channels. And on Jamie's channel, half of the votes are down votes. And on CFG's channel, they're all like up votes. And, Jamie, just because of the name of his channel, he gets like so much fucking hate, especially when he started fucking. But he does his own thing. Like it's, like he's very, very adamant. Happy to have you, bro, man. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, but he's very adamant that, he's not MGTOW, he's Purple Pill. I'm like, it's cool, man. Like, good. Like, fucking, has a good channel. Fuck. So, yeah, shout outs to fucking big guys and little guys. Yeah, and Crispy Bacon. No, I was not. That's a sick avatar, by the way. Fucking bacon colored Pepe. I'm like looking at it close. Yeah, it looks like wood grain, but it's like fucking bacon. That's fucking sick. Yeah, Forrest Arrow, man, you missed some good fucking stories about sluts. I don't know if you were here before, but thanks, Chris. So hopefully you're going to come on to the next one, and you'll be around for it too. And later on, I'd like to have you guys on, if that's something that would interest you. But I have some subject matter that I want to talk about first, and then I think it's cool to do streams where we both shoot the shit, but at the same time, I like the way Charles does the streams, and I like the way he actually interviews his guests. And I like the idea of having you guys on as guests. Ask you like a little bit about your backstory, or what you're doing now, like where you live, like how old are you, what you do in life, how you found MGTOW, anything, I'm just going off the top of my head now. Obviously, I'm going to try to come up with something a little more in depth than that, but like I think that would be really fucking cool. So yeah, man, Forrest Arrow says, I hope you do this another day. I will, man, I promise. You heard it for sure. Behind Blue Eyes. Yeah, it's a good song. Fuck. Crispy Bacon says, hell yeah, I love your streams. See you later, Greg. See you later, dude. And to all of you guys who are here today, man, thanks a lot for stopping by. I really fucking appreciate it. I most likely will be going live tomorrow, and again around the same time in the evening, probably around 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and possibly a weekend stream. We'll see what the other guys are doing. I don't want to fucking compete too much because I want you to be able to listen to a Whiskey Stills and Tumbleweed stream, and when that's done, come to mine. We don't have to be vying for the same time slot. I do these streams when I think is like a good time for me, and when I think that it's convenient for viewers. So on that note, I hope you like my fucking slutty stories. And thanks for stopping by, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Shadowing.